I have designated this dog dangerous.
Well, I think the vicious propensity, but I'm not so sure. I mean, dogs are animals. Other animals, they're gonna attack. I mean, there's some dogs that are just gonna do that. So I don't know if I want it to have that to become a misdemeanor. But if it already attacked and bit a person, then I guess maybe do the tiered system again.
I feel like a dog is deemed dangerous, you should know better what you have as a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, your dog is, I mean, it's the same thing, your kid is labeled as a bully in school, and you're constantly getting calls, like, you know your child's a bully, you need to talk to your child now and find out why we picking on the kids on, you know, isn't it the same thing as a
Or we're
dog?
gonna
If
euthanize
you
them.
tell me my, yeah. I mean, some kids can do it, but.
No,
If you tell me now, you know, your dog is dangerous, it's up to you, next time, you're gonna get a misdemeanor, like, to me, like, oh shit, like, I have to now watch what I'm doing, if I'm a good owner.
So are you talking on the first offense or second?
No, second, after it's already been
After
deemed
it's
dangerous.
After it's already been deemed dangerous.
Correct, once the
For
judge
sure,
says, hey,
after it's been
because to
deemed
me,
dangerous.
they're the ones that make the law, they're the ones saying this is what, you know, here's the evidence, they take the evidence, they're supposed to be fair, and say, okay, now you have a dangerous dog.
Yeah.
I feel yes, because now, once you have a, I don't deal with dangerous dogs, I don't wanna deal with dangerous dogs, they're a liability. If I get an animal in that I can't adopt out because it's a liability, if my question, my trainer asks me, says, Alicia, do you want that dog living next door to you? And if my answer is no, it's a liability, I don't want to deal with that dog. I don't deal with dangerous dogs, that's not my
Well, I mean,
passion.
even outside of this, Ag and Markets has plenty of restrictions on adopting and rehoming
I'm
dangerous
just saying
dogs
though,
too.
like that, once you have that label, you are taking, it's like a loaded weapon sometimes, depending on what the dog is. It's like walking around with a gun. Do you know how to use that gun? Have you been trained for that gun? A dog is a dog, it is an animal. As much as I love my animals, they're not human. That's why I think once a judge says your dog is dangerous, then yes, the person should be held at a higher standard because you know what you have.
Right, but I think the question is do we want to do it because it is a vicious propensity?
No, I'm saying like if the judge gives it the label, I think that's what you should
Oh,
go off
for
of.
sure.
If it's a
Yeah.
dangerous dog, then say yes, but I think
You're looking at me, but like I said,
No, I'm looking
I have the
Well,
privilege,
it's hard
I have the privilege of just doing what you instruct me to do. I don't have to make the final decisions.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I
That's what I'm
agree.
asking.
I mean, if a dog comes into my barn and kills my chickens, okay. Am I gonna make it
it's up to you
make
to
it a
make that right.
dangerous dog? If it comes back, probably then I would. The first time, no, because it may be just a natural instinct, it gets out, it goes in my barn, okay, but if the owner doesn't take care of the fact that now he knows that, cause I'm gonna make it known to him that that dog killed my chickens, and if it comes back, then it's gonna be,
Yeah, I think it has to be a dangerous dog to become a misdemeanor,
Okay.
the second time. That's my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
So, here's another hypothetical. There was, the last meeting we had, I think it was brought up as an example, or maybe it happens in.
Just one more thing. Before we answer the gentleman's question, are we gonna leave the tiered fine structure in place? I think that makes better sense, and then they'll all be violations until you get to the point where your dog has previously been deemed dangerous.
Correct.
Correct.
Yep.
And then
you have
regardless of how much
responsibility,
damage
yeah.
it has caused, biting something after it's been deemed dangerous is a misdemeanor.
Yes, I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
There was an incident in Attica where there was a couple or a person inside their vehicle that was afraid to leave because there was an aggressive dog outside of it. Recently, last 30 days kind of deal. That dog would not be deemed dangerous, correct? Because there was no physical contact between the human and the dog. If that dog then got out again and bit someone, in that scenario, wouldn't that escalate the owner's responsibility to something like a misdemeanor because they knew
Did it
the
get
dog
reported?
had aggressively
That's-
pursued
Did it
people
get-
Did it
prior?
get reported, like when the people were stuck in there, did they call and report? So,
I think they did dispatch like 911.
so in
That
order
could
for
be
me to take, because I'm BCO for Alton, in order for me to take a case to court, you don't have to be bit. You can say that I can leave my car, the dog was coming at me, and I could not leave my car, the dog was lunging, and I can take that to court. And then maybe you have a video of it, because so many people have cameras up all over the place, and I can take that and say, this is what happened, the person couldn't get out of their car, they were stuck in there for a half an hour, had to call the cops had to get a hold of the owner. A dog does not need to be bit. does not need to bite in order to be labeled as a dangerous dog. So
So-
that dog could get labeled if they report it and ask DCO to take it to court.
And then therefore, the second incident would be the misdemeanor for the owner who wasn't paying attention to the dog if it did.
So,
have
But
an
it's not
aggressive-
we incorporated the definition of dangerous dog straight out of agriculture and markets law, and that has, so, one, any dog that without justification attacks a person, companion animal, farm animal, domestic animal, causes physical injury or death, or two, behaves in a manner which a reasonable person would believe poses a serious and unjustified imminent threat of serious physical injury or death to one or more persons, companion animals, farm animals, etc. So there's that imminent, the wonderful reasonable person, which means absolutely nothing, you know. You talk about him all the time in law school, but I've never met him in real life. Behaves in a manner in which a reasonable person would believe poses a serious and unjustified imminent threat of, and again, serious physical injury or death.
Cool.
So yeah, in short, the dog doesn't actually have to bite.
So then they could be deemed with a propensity towards viciousness or whatever. And then after that, they could go to court and then have it deemed a dangerous dog. That would be like a step.
Yeah.
But it has to be,
Yeah.
have to
You
report it.
wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to go retroactive, like if someone got their chickens killed by a dog, but they didn't do anything about it and didn't even report it to the owner.
It would have to be multiple
And
incidents.
then like 5 months later, the dog winds up killing, I don't know,
Somebody else.
I know what you're
somebody
getting, like
else's chickens.
you couldn't tack it all into one thing, and so
You
like, say
oh,
a dog
my
gets out and
dog.
bites the neighbor, and the neighbor brings a complaint, and then the neighbor on the other side wants to come out and say, hey, that dog killed my chickens 3 months ago. You can't, that wouldn't be two
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
It would only be, that would only be the first.
Okay.
Did you say that the violations will come, like if they have to pay vet bills, it will
So-
come off of the
Yeah.
fine?
Yeah, so that is, page 13, section 9, any fine issued pursuant to this section, and again, it's discretional at the discretion of the judge,
Okay.
may be reduced by an amount commensurate with any restitution paid to a person or owner of an animal who or which was bitten as compensation or reimbursement for any vet and or medical expenses.
Okay, perfect.
And again, these penalties are in addition to any penalties set forth or authorized in, you know, ag and markets or any other, laws, so, you know, it doesn't prevent somebody from bringing a separate civil case.
So if they got fined $3,000 and the vet bills were $2,000, they would have to pay the vet bills and then only pay the $1,000
Yeah,
left.
essentially.
So the vet bills aren't attached to the fine.
They kind of are, because the goal of the fine is to make sure that whoever or whatever was bitten is reimbursed.
So if the fine's $3,000, the vet bills are $2,000, he has to pay $5,000?
No,
Well,
it would be a
have to
reduction,
pay-
it would be, so and then
Well,
say
yeah.
that,
May be a
Two and then
reduction.
one.
the
Okay.
judge could essentially say, you know, I'm gonna fine you $3,000, I understand that you've already paid, you know, the victim $2,000 for veterinary or medical expenses.
Okay,
So you're, you know, the fine balance is $1,000.
okay, so it's not added to the amount of the vet?
Correct.
Okay.
Let's see,
With the vet bills are over and above fine.
civil
I would think
case,
he would have to
Civil
pay.
case.
civil case.
Yeah.
And then the last section, I believe, close to the last section, 14, we incorporate agriculture and markets law into our local law, but to the extent that they are different, we intend for our law to be controlling. And then the only other change of substance was section 16. I did put in there just the recognition that we're not repealing local law number 3 of 2010, which is our licensing law. I wanted to make that clear that that law is going to stay on the books.
Can I make a change?
Sure.
Section 1.
And I believe that this was in your email, and I did not have a change.
Yes.
What did we have?
Let's see, finds that the running at large and other uncontrolled behavior of licensed and unlicensed dogs may create a risk, not has created a risk. may create a risk.
Oh, this has,
Yeah, yeah. No, I did not change that one yet.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because we're saying if it does happen, this is why we have the law, not that it's running rampant, you know, I mean, what we're trying to do is prevent things from happening. Yeah, because we don't have a law right now for anything, so. I think that's all.
So I just wanna make sure we're
I
clear.
got something.
It's, as far as the penalties go, dangerous dogs are only gonna be a misdemeanor in instances where the dog has previously been deemed by a court in New York to be a dangerous dog.
That's all we can, right? We can't.
Correct,
by
you can't use
another
in
court.
other states, but I wanna
Yeah.
make sure we're on the same page that we want a court order for the misdemeanor.
Mhm.
And otherwise, we're gonna leave the fine structure in place, but everything is gonna be a violation up until then.
Correct.
I know we're gonna get pushback, so on page 4, the 5 minutes and 15 minutes. Do you wanna change that?
yeah.
Yeah, I thought we had agreed on 30 minutes during the day and 10 minutes at night.
Okay. That'll work.
And as Ms. Keller pointed out, we do need to fix, in the kennel definition, we need to change that to 6 dogs instead of 4 dogs, just so it's consistent.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Section 15, just a typo. Void.
You caught me. Where?
Where is it?
Voidable. Is this in the L? Voidable.
Voidable.
Page 14, section.
Yeah. Just a typo.
It's like the resolutions, no matter how many times Dave and I go through them, you guys read them out loud, and I'm like, oh, damn it, I forgot to get that.
Spell check.
Sometimes you spell the wrong
Yeah.
word.
I
Put
think
the
it's
wrong
because,
word
I
in.
think it's because it's in the red font, and it still shows up as the red underline for the
Oh.
spelling, so I probably just glanced over it. Anything else, guys?
Phew.
So we've got our public hearing on extending the moratorium on wind at our next meeting.
You're setting the public hearing, or we're having the public hearing?
Yeah.
We're having a public hearing. But I'd like to really work on the kennel, get the kennel law going as quickly as possible.
Do we think
So-
that, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do we think that with these changes now, that this is, are we going to
I-
set a public hearing again to try to move this out again?
Yeah, we have to have another public hearing.
Yeah,
I think
but
we've made
maybe
enough.
set it in the next one, do you think we're
Yeah.
close enough?
So
We
I
at
have
mean,
the
another
end,
if these are
2
the
weeks.
only, if these are the only changes that need to be made, it's gonna take me 25 minutes.
I mean, that was the majority of everybody said, why don't you file ag and markets, and that's what we're doing.
so at the October.
Oh, the other thing that we have to play with, that I forgot about, is that language at the end of the, kenneling. Yeah.
Right. you're gonna fix that.
I mean, I just don't, if we're doing a kennel law and it's mentioned in here, we kind of have to have the kennel law ready.
I agree,
Yeah.
I agree.
So I think we should maybe, like, there's a way of taking it out for now and then just really working on making sure it makes sense instead of just throwing something in there.
I would keep moving forward, I mean, keep moving this forward, you know, have your public hearing on it, see what the, you know, community response is to the draft, because this has made massive changes since our last public hearing on that, and keep pressing on this, because I think that this is probably gonna be more contentious town-wide than the kenneling law will. I think that this is probably the,
Oh, you think so?
yeah.
Yeah.
The kenneling law is only gonna apply to so many people, this applies to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we've made it so that,
I think that this has been revised largely in line with the comments that we got from the public hearing.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, I think taking out the misdemeanors, changing the amount of the dogs that you can have without being a kennel, but,
Mhm.
and then using the egg and markets information, because that was the big thing.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Would
Good-
you guys
good
be willing to
participation.
Look into like a multi-use, like multi-dog permit over a kennel, having that also as an option.
That's for you guys to answer.
Didn't you folks have a, purebred dog license before?
Yeah.
What happened to that? It was great.
Because we had it, we
Yeah.
had a license.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
purebred dogs, you pay one fee for all of them.
Judy did it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was, county, license
Oh, we
law
came here.
that, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah, that was applied, because we don't have anything on the books, going back looking at our local laws that pertains to that, but yeah.
So
Is
what
that
did you
lost
do?
on the
You
books
just
then,
paid
the
one
county
fee?
one, do you?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
you came in and went before,
Depending
it
how
was
many
Judy,
dogs you
and
had.
then, yeah, you had a
Yeah,
kennel
they did
license, it
change
was a,
that, because
it was a
because
pure.
we were
Purebred
like,
dog license.
they said, oh, Bennington is like the only town that really uses it, because they have
There's
more,
towns that still have
like
that.
kennels or
I
whatever,
think York does it,
yeah.
but you have to have the same breed, so like
Yeah.
over three,
Right.
because you just have golden.
Yeah, purebred
Yeah.
dogs, yeah.
Yeah, I think we had, at the time, we had one lady on 98 with Shelties. There's a woman, I think, over on Bailey Road that does, Irish Wolfhounds, and then some other big breed, and then you, and maybe one other that were actually what I considered kennels, and they weren't boarding kennels,
Right.
they were breeding kennels.
Right.
And even, I think out of all of those, other than the Shelby lady, who had, I don't know, 25 to 40 dogs, everybody else was, I don't know, kind of within reason.
But you think the county got rid of the law, you're saying?
I think they changed that.
What about,
We can check into it, right?
what about,
Yeah, they
do
did,
you have
'cause
to
I
have
did
something
something.
separate
Yeah.
for people that take dogs in? And kennel them, you know, for like, I'm going away on vacation, would you watch,
Right.
I mean,
That's more on the boarding facility.
Yeah, it's a boarding
Well,
kennel.
you don't have to be a boarding facility to do that though, too.
Mhm.
By the time that much dogs that they're going.
but that's what I
My
mean,
grandma
is that
comes
something that
over
has
all
to
the
be
time,
set
so-
up separate?
And I
That's
think,
gonna
you
You
stop.
know,
know, where somebody would have to have a special use
Yeah.
permit, because that's a business now.
Right.
Where you're taking dogs in, so again, Ag and Markets, I think, would control a lot of that, wouldn't they? How you put.
Yeah, I'm not
Come on,
super, well, I'm
Eli.
not super familiar out in ag and markets outside of 123, and that's just because I've done so many dangerous dog proceedings. So you know.
So is
like
that what the,
yeah.
do you think that's what Ag and Markets kennel law is? About people that take dogs in as a business and kennel them for, you know, somebody that's going away on vacation and.
I'd have to look and see what it says to give you an interpretation, like, you know, how do I think that this would apply to you guys?
I don't think they go into boarding facilities. I think it's more breeders. I don't, yeah, they're breeders. They're breeders and pet dealers and rescues and shelters. So I'm just thinking about that right now, because I know of a boarding facility that has issues, and Egg and Market doesn't go in there. In Union
So,
County.
is that something else that you have, that we have to think of? I mean, while we're doing it, we might as well.
The one who you probably wanna reach out to and ask about?
Justin?
Yep.
Yes, Justin. Okay. I mean, I don't know if there are any.
We'll
I know
look,
there's
we'll
some
check,
in
we'll look
Broadway.
into it, but
Okay,
she may just be able to answer for you.
okay.
Yeah, can I get your name and number so I could, if I look into that law, I can call you and let you know?
Yep, Cindy Craig. 585-721-6420.
Okay.
Like I said, guys, I appreciate you coming out, and I'm not gonna speak on behalf of the town board or anything, but I appreciate you coming out. Feedback from you guys is always necessary as we continue to work through this, and
Yeah.
I think that this was a very constructive session, so thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
I hope you can come back to the public hearing too.
Yeah.
We'll say, I don't know, ask those people, that was all their idea.
And bring one of those puppies.
I don't have any now.
Oh, they're the best.
Dave got a golden retriever puppy. and
Oh, he
he's been-
did?
He's been bringing him to the office.
Oh, I love it. We have 2 labs at work, they know when the UPS guy comes, they can hear his
Talking like
truck
a bush?
from
Okay,
half a mile away, and they like run to the door
No.
and wait for him to get